Welcome, everyone. It is Friday, February 18th, 2022, and this is a special edition of the NBA Triple Double Show powered by the Predictive Playbook and presented to you by SportsMemo TV. So if you haven't done it already and this is the first time you're watching our shows, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll never miss any of our shows that cover every single sport there is on the planet, just about. Welcome to the show, Ronald. Ronald is my regular co-host if you're watching for the first time, and we're here to talk about the All-Star game. And, first, I don't mean to sound like the Prez, but, I'd have to go like this, I guess, and put my face in my hands. But with all due respect to him, that Nets game that I had a 5%er on was one of the most stressful games I've ever watched in my life because, all of us at Sportsman and Wager Talk are concerned about our clients. We're not just putting picks out there for the sake of putting picks out there, and we also have our own money on them.
Yeah.
And they were down, 26, 28? And that's a 5%er in the first half.
Yeah.
Much to the credit of my clients, I didn't get, what do they call it, trolled on Twitter, or, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're doing, but they had every right to.
Yeah.
But then you could almost feel it, like that closing run that got it down to about, I guess they got it as low as 14, and then it ended being 21 at the half.
Yeah.
I just couldn't help but to think this is going to be another Knicks collapse of 20-plus points, and sure as hell, there it was. So, I literally was jumping up and down when they took the lead. I mean, it was it was pandemonium.
We talked about it during or after the show that morning. You told me you had that 5%er on the Nets. And I was leaning that way, but I didn't end up pulling the trigger on it. But I was cheering you on, and when it got close to like 10 points, I was like, oh, it's gonna happen.
I did feel pretty good about it. I did do just a little pizza bet. It was actually $20. I got plus 18.5. And I just thought, obviously I had a lot more on the game. I just, was playing with the in-game just a little bit for the sake of seeing what happened. But can you imagine if I would have played the monny line?
Yeah.
It never dawned on me with $10 just to play the money line. But that's my little tale for the day. But I'm interested too, and I know I'm one of the few out there that is I would call not a Simmons fan, but a Simmons supporter. And, I always come, who I am, and I don't like it when a person gets dragged through the mud. And granted, he didn't handle it well. The Sixers didn't handle it well. And it was much like when people get divorced. There's a lot of pain, a lot of sensitive feelings. Mm-hmm. And, they came to the forefront. And whatever was said behind closed doors, I think had to be monumental for both sides to act the way they did. It was almost like they went to therapy for a marriage, and it was horribly bad. And then neither side wanted to talk to each other because they were so pissed off. But I do hope that Simmons, shows us, because he's such an incredible athlete and talent, at least on the defensive end. And maybe he can work out the shooting end. If he does, I mean, look out the rest of the NBA. Mm-hmm. That team is just loaded for bear.
Yeah.
And I mean, how do you see it?
No, exactly. I mean, I never want to see anyone struggle, especially someone that has has been getting trolled pretty much all season long. Waiting for him to get traded and all that stuff, and it finally happens, and it seems like he's in a good spot. And the Nets too. Overall, I really think they came out of this trade the winners pretty clearly.
Absolutely.
Drummond was a big addition. Seth Curry brings that guard depth that they need. And then Ben Simmons, he's sort of like that extra piece that you don't even know if he's going to pan out or not, but it doesn't really matter because they traded away someone that was, toxic to their team. And you already got two good pieces with Drummond and Curry. So anything extra from Simmons is just, something that they didn't really. Yeah, it's a bonus pretty much. But I think they're going to be scary once everyone is healthy because they're rolling along right now without Durant, Joe Harris, Kyrie has been out the last few games. So this team is actually going to be pretty scary in the East.
Yeah, it's gonna. I do hope that the ball handling skills of Simmons is back on display. For like 80% of the season last year, he was pretty much amazing. Like he was getting to the rim and slamming, and his passing has always been excellent. You never see anybody try to strip him of the ball because he's such a great ball handler at 6'11". But to see him running with a guy like Durant is way different than running with a guy like Embiid. Nothing, it's just a different style. I'm not putting Embiid down by any stretch of the imagination, but
Yeah.
I think Durant's a much better perimeter player. Embiid's a much better paint player for sure, post player.
If you put Simmons at the point and you have guys like Patty Mills, and Joe Harris who could shoot the three, and then you have even Nick Claxton. If these guys come off the bench, this second unit could be strong because Ben Simmons playing the point guard, he can either take it in, drive it in. He could once he gets into the paint, lob it to Claxton or kick it out to the 3-point shooters. They have a lot of options here because especially when KD and Irving get off the court, the ball's going to be spread around a lot more. And Ben Simmons, he flurries in that position.
Yeah, I can't wait till that day arrives. And March 10th is when the Nets play in Philadelphia. Can only imagine that atmosphere, and hope I just hope it doesn't get too bad. I don't know how to describe what that is going to be like, but we're going to get to the futures for the second half. Some of the strong leans that we do have for the second half, and who's going to win this thing in a second. But first, we're going to look at the All-Star game, and the All-Star game starts tomorrow at 8 p.m. with the tonight at 8 p.m. is the Rising Stars tournament. And we really don't have an opinion on that. But we moving on to the Saturday night at 8 p.m., the NBA Skills Challenge, we do. And as you can see on the chart, there's 3 teams and 3 players on each team. And whoever performs the best as a team will win the Skills Challenge. So, as you can see, the team rookies, Scotty Barnes, Cade Cunningham, Josh Giddey, are minus 165. So looking at the other team names, Ronald, I don't see how team rookies doesn't win this going away.
Yeah, I think as far as skill set, they're the most complete team here, and especially with most of the challenges, including like shooting and passing and dribbling through down the court. I mean, the Cavs, you got Jared Allen on there. On Giannis's side, you got length and stuff there, but they can't shoot. So there's a balance, and they can't. I don't know if they could pass that accurately as well. So there's that balance that you need in this type of challenge, and I think the rookies got it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So we'll jot that one down as a pizza money bet. These aren't 4%ers that we're giving you. To make that very clear, this is pizza money bet, which is basically like a 0.25 or 0.5% wager. Anyway, the 3-point contest, Patty Mills is the favorite, as you can see on this chart. He's plus 425, and Van Leet is plus 450. Trae Young plus 500. Luke Kennard plus 500. Desmond Bain plus 500. And it looks like it's going to be a pretty close, contested competition this year with really everybody except for maybe Karl Anthony Towns fully capable of winning this thing. Mm-hmm. And Towns is only 12-1, but I kind of rule him out, and CJ McCollum, and I could be dead wrong. But who do you like in this in the 3-point contest?
Yeah, I actually like Luke Kennard a lot. I mean, he showed yesterday. He went 8 for 9, I think, in yesterday's game. So he's prepared for it. I also saw that he's going to have all his family there at the competition because. So I think he's gonna go all out. I think he has a really good shot at winning it. He's one of the pure set shooters, guys who don't really run around and dribble to get their 3-point shot off. Like guys like Van Vliet and Trae Young, and even CJ McCollum and Levine. These guys, they're not like spot up 3-point shooters. They usually have the ball in their hand when they go in and shoot. So I like guys like spot up shooters who in this type of contest. Even Karl Anthony Towns, I mean, he doesn't jump. He's a pretty set shooter as well. So you can't really rule him out, even though he's at plus 1200. But to me, I think Kennard is the guy here. He has a lot of motivation. He bringing all his whole family to the competition and all that stuff,
That's
and
cool.
he doesn't have anything else to kind of look forward to as far as like the All-Star game or things like that. There's not a lot of pressure on him. He's probably like one of the lesser known guys on the in the competition too. So he doesn't have a lot to lose. So I like Kennard here.
Yeah, and I see why too. He's shooting 44.8% this season from beyond the arc. Last year, he shot 44.6% from beyond the arc for the season. He's averaging 6.1 attempts, which is almost 80% more than he was last year. So he's taking a lot more 3-pointers, and he's averaging 11.8 points per game, which most of that is from beyond the arc. So I like that take too, where he's a spot up and not a guy that has to create the 3-point shot like a Trae Young and the other names that you mentioned. They're in the contest. I like that quite a bit. And this Desmond Bain guy, too, I think would be a sneaky winner. Fully qualified to win it. He's a pretty good shot.
Yeah.
He's shooting 42.4%. He's making an average of 2.3, attempting 5.3 for the season so far. Last year, he averaged 2.9 made 3-pointers per game and attempted 6.9. That translated to 42%. So this guy can put it up too, and when these guys don't have anybody in their face, that's when it's fun because they can drain quite a few. We saw Klay Thompson the day before the game. He came back. They showed a video of him, and he does drills of 25 shots from the corner. And he was on the left corner, and the only one he missed was the 25th one. He poured in 24 in a row from the same spot, and he got in the teens when he was going through there. The net was barely even moving. Mm-hmm. It was unbelievable. Anyway, we're gonna go with those two pizza money bets. Desmond Bain and Luke Kennard is plus 500. Desmond Bain plus 550, and that's gonna be my favorite contest for sure. The dunk contest, you can see the odds between the 4 players here. I'm not really familiar. I know they changed the format, but I know you know a lot more about this particular skill contest than I do. But who do you like?
I do like Jalen Green. I know he's the favorite here, but it makes a lot of sense. He's likely the most athletic out of the group, and he's also the smoothest, and he's also the youngest, so he has that creative mind to be able to think of something pretty cool to go with as a in the final rounds. To me, I think he's probably the clear favorite to win it. And also honestly I don't know why Toscano Anderson is in there. Cole Anthony, Cole Anthony. I mean, I don't know. It's either Jalen Green or Obi Toppin, and to me, Green takes it.
Yeah, I chuckle with all due respect to Juan, but that is a head shaker. But maybe he has something on tap for us too that's going to blow our minds. I always remember when Blake Griffin jumped over I think it was the Mercedes car, and dunked, and that was something. But now they do dunks that I would. My body would be broken in about 100 spots if I did that.
Yeah.
Now, the MVPs are our next category for the All-Star game, and this has obviously a lot of names on it, as you can see on the chart. Boy, I tell you, how do you handicap this? I mean, it's kind of like who's going to play the most minutes, and how do you figure that out?
Yeah.
But what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's like it's either whoever's going to get the most assists or who's going to get the most lobs. Some of these guys we'll probably see like two guys with triple doubles or something like that, and those guys win it. But Giannis is obviously the favorite. He's going to catch the most lobs probably. Curry, you got a chance to hit 10 threes in 15, 20 assists or something like that. John Morant, you could probably see him getting some lobs too as a guard, but I think they might want to be safe with him just because of injuries or something like that, because he's been kind of hobbled a little bit. But to me, this one's a hard one. I mean, easy look would be Giannis. he would get most of the points, most efficient offense, because he's getting all the dunks. But you could probably look at guys like Trae Young, LaMelo, guys who haven't had gone to the All-Star game too many times and they want to try to ball out. So that's my take. I mean, even DeJounte Murray, he's a guy from Seattle that I want to support in this game. So let me, I want to see him ball out too, because he was just a replacement guy, but I think he deserved to be in the original list. So he's someone that could we could look at too at plus 10,000. So you don't have to put too much money to make money on that.
That's true. That's 100 to 1. So a $10 bet would pay 1,000. I do like that idea. Hey, it's a great idea. I might even put 20 on that one just in case. I mean, you just never know. You really truly don't know, and you do analytical work too as well as I do, and there's no situations here that can give you any type of prediction.
Yeah.
For who's going to win this thing, but
I think it's just game flow really, and understanding how the All-Star game works, because no one really plays defense until the end of the game when they want to come out with the win. So most of the time you're going to get a lot of assists, you're going to get a lot of dunks. Some guys are going to shoot threes, but you never know who's going to be hot during the game. So guys that you could see put up the most stats is likely who's going to win the game. I don't know if you can get someone like Jokic or Gobert or Jared Allen who don't run in back and forth down the court too often.
Right.
This is a fast-paced game, so you want to look at those type of guys who can run up and down the court.
So one idea I think too is guys like Giannis, Embiid, LeBron James, Doncic, Morant, any team that is that's their key guy or their second key guy that's in the playoff race, for the top seed. I don't see them playing very many minutes.
No.
So with the exception of the rule, though, is Steph Curry, who never seems to get tired. And there's no danger of him getting hurt by going to the rim. He's going to be standing out wide open, hitting threes. Do you think that is an opportunity for a pizza money bet on him at 8 to 1?
I mean, it could be. He's probably one of the guys that would be able to, out of everyone on this roster, he would probably hit the most threes, right? And get the most assists. I mean, to me, if you put that together, he's gonna get a lot of time with the ball. So yeah, he could be a look there.
And lastly, the over-under for this game is a whopping 321.5 points. I remember it's about 10 years ago, it was 256, and we thought that was out of the, just nuts.
Yeah.
But it seems to go over, and despite the fact that that's about, 8.2 points per minute scored for the whole 48 minutes.
Yeah.
It just seems like, if you're interested in the total, I think, just because it's the All-Star game, you got to bet the over.
Yeah. I mean, we just saw the Clippers and Rockets put like 260 yesterday.
Yeah, that's right.
And they're those guys, Rockets definitely not an All-Star team. But this probably the type of defense that they're going to be playing in this All-Star game, like non-existent. So, yeah, I mean, I can see it happening.
Yeah, and you can't blame the Rockets for not playing defense. When you're not in contention, it doesn't take much either. I mean, I'm saying they're not trying, but a tenth of a second in the NBA is a mile, and if you're that tenth of a second slow defending, that's the Houston Rockets. Don't mean to degrade them, but So let's move on to the futures here. And we're going to start with the Eastern Conference. And as you can see on the chart here, the market has been quite active since that Harden-Ben Simmons trade. And right now, the 76ers have come down from plus 600, plus 700 the day of the trade to plus 325. Nets are a little bit lower, too, at plus 280. The Bucks are the favorite, though, at 275. And then the team that I think has value, when I say value, you know what that means, Ron, but for first-time listeners, value means that if I find value in the Heat and I do this for the next 10 years, um, I'm gonna end up making money. The probabilities are in my favor. It's not necessarily the Heat are actually going to pull it off,
Hmm.
but I'm getting the biggest ROI for a team that does have the capability of winning it. So it's a hard choice now with the top three, and then you have the outlier kind of team like the Heat, and then it jumps up to the Celtics at 11, and everybody else is just kind of
Hmm.
doesn't have a chance. But who do you lean to, if anybody?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I like the Knicks the Nets, the move that they made. I like it better than the 76ers. But if we're looking at value, you mentioned the Celtics and everyone else, but I I actually do like the Celtics and the Bulls as far as value, 11-1 and 12-1, especially the Bulls because they've been
Yeah,
basically playing without Caruso, without Patrick Williams, without Lonzo Ball for a majority of the season because of injuries. And when they get those guys back, they're going to be a good defensive squad again. Right now, they're relying on their offense and DeMar DeRozan's like historic run. But with everyone on board, I think that team changes. Even when they did have Lonzo Ball and Caruso playing, their bench was injured. Patrick Williams was out. Kobe White was out. I think Derek Jones was out for the early part of the season as well. So they're going to be a deep team. Celtics, they've been playing like
yep.
just awesome defense lately. One of
Oh,
the
they have.
probably number one defensive rating in the last at least 20 games since the January at least. Um,
Yep.
and they made some changes during the All-Star break with Derek White. I think he was a great addition too, as far as uh, taking over that six-man role. I definitely liked him. I like him better in that spot than Schroeder. Um, I like those guys as far as value, but the guys that I think are going to win is probably going to either be the the Bucks or the Nets here. I do like the makeup they have, but it's tough to go for the favorites when they're when there's so many options out there.
I agree. How about the Western Conference? You can see on the chart here the Suns and Warriors, and then the Jazz plus 550, and then the rest are trailing significantly.
Yeah.
So I don't have an opinion here in the West at all. I think like everybody else, it probably comes down to the Suns and the Warriors somehow, even though they're in the same division. Uh,
Yeah,
you see any opportunities in the West?
this Western Conference is a toss up. I know record wise it's very top heavy with the Suns, Warriors, and the Jazz. But really, you got the Grizzlies who are a super deep team. Nuggets, they got one of the MVP front runners with Jokic. I can't see I don't see the Lakers winning it at all. I don't know why they're only plus
I have
1400.
no clue either. It's ridiculous. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
And then the Mavs, they made some changes too, and we don't know. We haven't seen at full strength of what they can do yet. They've only played a couple games since that trade, so I don't know. This side is a toss up here. I like the depth of the Grizzlies and the Suns. The Warriors still they haven't gotten Wiseman back, and Draymond is still injured too. So I don't. This side is really a toss up to me.
The one that I do like, it's not on the graph, but division of the winning team of the Western Conference coming from the Pacific Division, you have to lay 3-1, which I normally don't like to do. But if it seems obvious it's going to come from the Pacific Division, so that I kind of lean on that. I don't know if I want to pay. It's kind of like why was $30 to win 10 or 60 to win 20, because that doesn't sound very good. It never is good. But we'll have to revisit that another time.
Yeah.
So now for the champion, we're going to take a look at that here. Again, it's the Warriors and the Suns are at plus 450, the Bucks at plus 550, Nets plus 600, 76ers plus 650, on and on. If you were forced to pick a team to win it all, who would it be?
Forced. This is crazy.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Bulls? They're
I wouldn't
25-1.
I wouldn't say they would win it all. I think they just had value. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
as far as
Yep.
that works. But experience wise, in the finals, you got the Bucks and the Warriors have a lot of experience as far as finals. Suns, they obviously want to get back there. The Nets, KD has experience there, and I mean, to be honest, I really like the additions in this trade and how that roster has changed with those guys. Um, I mean, the top four guys that I see, top four teams, Warriors, Suns, Bucks, and Nets. It's got to be within those four, in
I
my
think so
opinion.
too. Yep. And in the playoffs too, I'll mention this quickly. We can talk about it another time. But if you do take one of the long shots, the so-called value team, like a Bulls, you probably don't want to do the futures. You want to wait till you get to the playoffs and then use the money line because they're probably going to be an underdog at some point in the
Yeah.
run to the championship. So you play the money line as a dog each round, and that would give you a much bigger return than just doing the futures bet. But
Yeah.
we'll follow up on that in another show. And lastly, let's do the MVP before we sign off. Looks like Joel Embiid here, based on the graph, is the guy that seems to have it. I don't know if James Harden's going to change the mix and reduce his points per game enough. We don't know how that's going to play out, but even if he does well and scores less points per game, and the Sixers are number one seed or number two seed in the Eastern Conference, I think he probably gets it.
Yeah, I mean,
You
it
see
makes sense.
any other names on there that you like?
It makes sense to me. The other team, obviously, who kind of uh, is the main guy is Jokic. Jokic and Embiid out of out of all those guys, I feel like are the two that are being relied on the most for their team. And also Luca. Luca is another guy. So if we're looking at value, Luca's a plus 4,000. Plus, yeah, uh, is someone that we can look at as far as value. But really, Embiid and Jokic are the two guys who lead their teams and pretty much are trash without them. So those
Right?
guys, yeah, those two are probably the clear favorites here.
Can't agree more. And I think that's just information for the. I don't think I would suggest betting the MVP. If you're taking money and you're gonna have to wait and wait and wait, and that money could have over the time that you're waiting and waiting and waiting could be used for other things.
Yeah.
So I don't think I've ever bet the MVP in my entire life, but we're at the end of the NBA All-Star edition of the Triple Double. Ronald, I always appreciate you being on the show with me and being my partner in this. It's just a blast. And thanks to everybody out there, especially the ones in the chat room. Leave comments in the YouTube page, and we'll be sure to get back to you with responses, any questions you have. Just fire away. We're here to help, and we're also here to learn from you guys as well. So share your thoughts, and we look forward to that. We'll be back Monday with another edition of the Triple Double. So until then, remember, always bet with your head and never over it, and may all the wins be yours.